Morning, Mayor. Members of the council, for the record, Shaun Jillions, registered lobbyist representing the Oregon Association of Realtors. When you all make decisions, there are sometimes unintended consequences. And when you hear stories about people who are deciding to take institutional money to other places, not building here because they're concerned about the regulatory environment, or you hear stories about small landlords, and in particular the one exception, you hear a lot of small landlords who have a single family residence, they're selling them now. And that was one of the concerns we raised in February, is that people would just get to the point of saying, you know what, it's not worth owning that anymore, and that property is no longer available for a single family rental. We've seen a considerable uptick in the number of those units that are now on the market, and you're also seeing a decline in actual single family rentals that are available for folks. Those folks who might have a family, want more space, don't necessarily want to live in an apartment. So as you move forward and look at permanent decisions, I would hope that your technical advisory committee looks at policy as well, not just we already have the end in mind, which is sort of how the original ordinance was crafted, and then input was sought afterwards, that you would look at sort of what the consequences are of the decisions that you make if you're actually going to have the opposite impact that you all are looking for, which ultimately is what we're all looking for, which is significant increase in the supply, which will ultimately drive down some of the costs.
Mayor, can I just ask a question?
Mr. Fish.
I'd love to see whatever data you have on this, so if you can supply to us. I'll just give you one example. For 20 years I lived in Hollywood, and my next door neighbor bought her bungalow, perfectly nice, two-bedroom home in the 70s for about $40,000. She was a legal secretary, she raised her family, she had a tenant, she was a great neighbor. She ended up selling her bungalow at the beginning of the market uptick to a developer for about $400,000. Under our rules, we allowed the developer to take it down but keep the foundation, put a monster house on the lot, and sell it for $800,000. So one of the questions that I want to drill down on and look at your data is it the city council's regulations which you think are driving these decisions, or the fact that we're in an unprecedented market where people can make just the kinds of profits on the sale of homes were unimaginable 10 years ago? But I look forward to seeing your data.